I guess that leads though into Donaldson if we're talking about a lack of speed. And that also is the last guy that's like an established veteran that we need to talk about. But what are your thoughts on JD going into the season?
Bad. I know a lot of people expect him to come up, but I don't know. Based off of eye test and stats, I mean, like you don't have a blip on the radar for 132 games the way that Donaldson did last year. I know it's a new team and whatnot. Donaldson, his walk rate went down 4.5% from his previous year, which was his career low before his MVP season in 2015. He was at 9.9% walk rate last year. The year before, 13.6. In his power years, it was anywhere from 15.6 to 17.6. His isolated power down to 153. His glove was really good. His WRC plus was below average. His OPS was below average. He has a 1.6 WAR, and he gets paid $26 million, which is the only reason why I want Glaber to go, because he's a worse player than Glaber. I say Glaber is almost doubly as valuable as him. He's really annoyed me. I feel bad. I'm like I have a really annoyed tone at him right now. Like he was my kid who did something that really pissed me off that I'm like embarrassed about.
Yeah.
But he creates so many problems, and I know it's not his fault that he gets paid that much money and that he has the resume that he does and that he plays hard. He just doesn't have it anymore. Like he's not getting the barrel percentage like he used to. His hard hit percent was down by over 10% last year.
Yep.
Um, and in the years where he was good, 2015, 16, 18, 19, no, not 18, 2015, 16, 20 and 21 really, and 19. They were all at like 49% plus. Last year was 42% on his hard hit percentage. Expected batting average was lower than his batting average, which was 220. His expected batting average was 210. So like I know he's good defensively, but we have DJ and we have Cabrera, who is the AAA third baseman. And we have
Yep.
Anthony Volpe who can play there. And we have Oswaldo
There's just
Peraza.
so
And we have
many
a gold
options.
glove third baseman in IKF. Like I it makes me so angry. This is my most emotional part of this podcast because opening day is next week and Josh Donaldson's our third baseman, and it really annoys me. That's how I feel. That's your question. That's how I feel.
I'm glad you were able to let that all out. You did it for the both of us too. Him being on this team reminds me a lot of what could have played out if Troy Tulowitzki stayed healthy in 2018. I don't know if you remembered how he was slated to be the starting shortstop, and then he got like bone spurs in his foot or something like that, and he decided to call it a career right then and there. And it does sound like Josh Donaldson said if he felt like he was getting injured again and it was like to the point of no return, he was going to hang it up. I don't know how true that is. I don't know if that's like his narrative or like if he genuinely would have said, I'm done playing baseball. Um, but like we're seeing the nightmare edition where the Yankees brought in DJ LeMahieu that same season, and it's likely that if Tulo did stay healthy and was like serviceable with his glove but not serviceable with his bat, we wouldn't have seen nearly as much DJ LeMahieu. And we're seeing that exactly unfold, except this time with young prospects that are ready to go. And it's very baffling to. I don't like looking back at that trade. I can see some of the reasoning why they made it in the first place, but at the same time, you've had how many months now to figure out the roster construction and not have this infield battle go on for so long, because it does feel like an unnecessary one. Like I feel like everyone at this point knows who the best talent is and who's ready to provide the most for this team. I will say that Donaldson is making some changes to his swing. He's standing a little bit more upright. That does look more natural for him. I don't know why he went into a crouched position in the first place. That was stupid. He never did that in his career beforehand. In his best seasons, he was
He was
always upright.
upright and really powerful in 14 and 15. Like that was his power
Yeah.
seasons, like really upright. And he's not a very tall guy even.
No. Well, even in 2019, he was doing the same thing. So, like, I don't understand what convinced him or like what compelled him to make that kind of change, but it was a massive one. And he just looked overmatched a lot of the time. And it looked like he was guessing the second the ball came out of the pitcher's hand. He had no clue where it was going, and he was looking to take a walk more than anything. And it's like you're not getting paid 26 million a year to take a walk. Um, and he wasn't even walking that much. So it's like it's a moot point. That being said, if we're going to be stuck with him on the roster, I hope he raises his value enough to get traded at some point. Or let's say he does come back into form and like 2021, I want to bring up he was good that year. He had like an 820 OPS. Yep. And if he can somehow return to that, that's the best case scenario with him staying on this roster. Just because I do feel like we're going to be stuck with him for a little bit. But I mean, we're going to get into this almost immediately. The young kids are going to force the Yankees' hand to make a move in the infield, at least one move. I think that 2 to 3 moves are coming. We could see a snowball effect happen within the next 5 days before opening day, 6 days. Just because they have not cleared any kind of payroll whatsoever. So like one of these veterans is going to go somewhere, and IKF can be one of them. I don't know if we even really want to talk about him that much because he hasn't played any kind of infield except for a little bit of third base and second base here and there this spring training so far. But it just, I don't see Donaldson having a position on this team in September. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got into the positive space after my rambling, my ranting rather. I predict that Donaldson will be bad this year. And if he's not, great.
Yeah.
Stay on the team. If he can do what he did in 2021, 2021.
Yeah,
I don't fault the Yankees for that trade, really. Like, it's tough, but Gary Sanchez right now doesn't have a major league team. And Kyle Higashioka does. And he's our backup catcher still. Right? And Gio Urshela is the third baseman for the Angels. But Donaldson had a better defensive year than Gio and a comparable offensive year last year. Like Gio had a down year for him too. So if you look at what the Yankees got, I mean, we got a stopgap shortstop. Like someone had to play short last year, right? Like it could have been Peraza earlier, but we got a shortstop for 6 months and a near Gold Glove level third baseman who underperformed.
Yeah.
So I don't blame them for that trade, but it just held up stuff. I mean, I think where it's gonna go is he's gonna play poorly for 2 months, and the Yankees and him are gonna handshake. Okay, like you can't play anymore. Where like someone else, DJ's gonna play third. We're gonna have kids play a combination of short and second. And like, do you want a DFA? Like, do you want to be released and go to another team where he'll play? He'll play for 20 of the teams in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Because he's good enough and he's a veteran presence. So the Yankees probably pocket that big contract. Half of the year it ends up only being 12 to 15 million they give him to not play. So that's kind of where I see it going.